All right. Good evening, everybody, and welcome to the next installment of Your Money Matters Financial Empowerment Show. I am your host, Letha Thornton. Happy to be back with you for yet another week as we seek to move the culture forward with all things money and finance, right? We continue to bring meaningful programming and resources to you so that you can level up and get your finances in order. Relevant topics, things related to advancement, and the whole nine. So, I am happy to be coming to you tonight, really just talking about a show that we did a while back. And it was called Money Traumas, right? Your relationship with money due to your past traumas. It was a great show. I was intrigued by the guests that we had on, and I felt like there just wasn't enough time to tackle all of these topics that they were discussing. So I figured it would be worth doing a part 2, but bringing somebody in who has some money coaching strategies that can help us get to the next level and overcome our bad relationships with money, and even expound and help us on a journey to continue with the good money habits and good relationships that we have with money. So I'm going to ask if Samira Singh is in the house.
Hi, how are you doing? And thank you
I'm
for being on the
I'm
show.
excellent. No, I'm so elated to have you here, Samira. And you and I have been talking over the last couple of weeks. I am so humbled and honored that you would find time in your life when our time zones are so different to grace us with your presence and be willing to help to educate our audience. So, Samira is in London, and it's 1 o'clock in the morning there. So for her to get on and lend us her time, I'm just so honored to have you here. Tell the people a little bit about yourself.
Firstly, thank you so much for having me here. And I am honored to be here in your wonderful show and in front of your fabulous audience. I am Samira, or you can call me Sam, and I am a money mindset coach based in London. How I got into money mindset was that I had every money trauma, every money block, every money sabotage, every limiting money belief that you can imagine. You imagine it, and I had it. And of course, that had a very negative and adverse impact on me, my life, and my self worth. And as I was working through my own money beliefs and my own trying to improve my own relationship with money, I realized that what I'm really passionate about is helping other people who are going through similar problems in their life and who don't have a healthy relationship with money. I want to empower them to basically have a very empowered relationship with money, which is balanced, which is positive, where they feel that money is like their best friend, and where they are in control of their money story rather than their money story being in control of them and their actions. And that's how I became a money coach, and something I'm very passionate about.
That's huge, right? Working on saying, I my own relationship with money wasn't what I wanted it to be. And I think that that makes us the most qualified to be able to talk about these things, right? Because we are our own best teacher. A lot of the times we go through the bumps and the bruises and the healing, the all the repair ourselves, and that makes us so qualified to teach other people, right? People might say, "Oh, well, what makes you qualified?" I've been through it and I've gotten through it, right? So absolutely. And tell us a fun fact about you.
Well, a fun fact about me would be that I am obsessed with reading. crime thrillers. And it's quite strange because I am plant-based. So for someone who doesn't eat any meat or any milk, I love reading something which is very gory for the body. So there you have it.
Okay. Leaders are readers. That's what I always hear. Leaders are readers. So awesome, awesome, awesome. We're going to get right into it because you have so much to offer, and I want to make sure that we get through everything. Discuss some of the work and some of the things that you maybe have helped people to identify when it comes to having a poor relationship with money.
So, so some of the things which I have helped people identify regarding the relationship with money, a lot of it has to come with what they have seen in their own childhood. So, as we all know, that our subconscious brain basically absorbs most information before we turn 7. It absorbs information after that also, but most of our subconscious beliefs are formed by the time we turn 7. That's science. And some of the things which I often come across in terms of my work is these subconscious beliefs impacting people's relationship with money now. So, for example, if they have seen their parents argue about money, they may grow up thinking that actually money is bad because it causes stress in relationships, or if they have seen their father or their mother work very hard and hardly being there, having 2 jobs or 3 jobs just to make the ends meet, they may grow up thinking that it's very hard. Earning money is very hard, and sometimes, however hard work you may do, you will not earn what you need or what you deserve. Similarly, if they have also seen some cultural context, or for example, if they have seen their parents talk about, or someone they respect, or a carer talk about the fact that, oh, rich people are bad, or money is the cause of all the problems in the world, they may grow up thinking these beliefs. And sometimes we are not even aware of the beliefs that we have. But what our subconscious does is this: our subconscious is almost like a software. So it has a certain beliefs, and it keeps creating situations in our life where it is literally reenacting those beliefs. So it's almost like a software, and it keeps printing the same thing in the printer. And until we change the software, the printout which is coming is not going to change. And for women, we have also have some additional limiting money beliefs, because with women, often the expectation is this, that we have to be a carer, we have to be givers, even in whatever jobs we may be, or even if you're in business. And they expect that money is not one of our priorities. And there's often an assumption that if money and femininity doesn't go well hand in hand together. For example, if you look into most of the movies or TV series, the rich woman is never the nice woman. She's always the bad one. She's the vamp. Like, they will always, and in the end, she will realize that how wrong her ways were, and she will realize that there are more things more important than money. And women often grow up thinking that if they ask for their worth, whether it's in business or in job or even in relationships, right? Like, if you're in a relationship and it's not working out and you need alimony, or if you both, you and your partner, contribute towards something, we grow up thinking that if we ask for our worth, or if we have money, sometimes that we'll not be liked, or we'll be considered unfeminine. uh, so, in terms, in addition to the limiting block beliefs which everyone has, what I also come across are these very specific limiting beliefs, which are very, very specific to women, and they are specific to women all around the world. Of course, in some countries and some cultures, you have women with stronger limiting beliefs, but even in Western countries like where we live, you have these beliefs are there. And one of the biggest uh, evidence of this is this, that women often get paid less than men doing the same job. Like in the UK, we have a gender pay gap of almost 15 to 20%, where a man and a woman would be doing the same job, even in places like banks and corporates, but a woman would be paid almost 15 to 20% more than man doing their job. And especially when the numbers increase, like the higher you go up the ladder, the more the gender pay gap increases. I can't, you're on mute, Lita.
My apologies. Don't know how that happened, but I have to stop you because I feel like you just said 4 or 5 different things that could really go into a whole different show. Where you could this could be a part B, part C, and it probably will be, just because there's so many levels to money traumas and the relationships that we have with money. First, you were saying, that these habits come from our parents. If they're good habits, we adopt the good habits. If they are poor habits with money, we take on those habits, right? So either you choose to swim against the tide and make some changes and not do what your parents do because that's what you saw them do and it wasn't successful, or a lot of the times it's passed on generationally and it ends up being a generational curse, right? um, People feeling like money isn't everything. Money is the root of all evil and all those things, when really money is a tool to get some things done. But in certain cultures, it can be perceived that those the haves and the have-nots are treated differently, right? Those that have and those that don't. You know what I mean? There's a big gap, right? Women being nurturers and caregivers and all of these things, and putting themselves last when it comes to planning for their finances, that will be a show. And then the pay gap, all of these creating our beliefs, our habits, our poor relationships with money. So I just, you said such a mouthful. I was over here taking sub notes to the notes that I had already written. With our talking points and things like that. That they are all wonderful, wonderful things to be broken down. So, what are some of the positive relationships that you've been able to see people have with money?
I think the most positive relationship I have seen people have with money is when they are being true to themselves, and they're trying to be very honest about the fact that this is the life they need, and this is what they want to give to their community, and this is their impact which they want to make, and how much money they need it, because not everyone in their hearts of heart, not everyone wants to be a millionaire, not everyone wants to go on private jets, but there's this almost like an expectation that if you don't want it, then you're not successful. So I know as a money coach, people will be like, you're saying something totally revolutionary, but a healthiest relationship with money, like any other relationship, is when you are true to what you really want and you have a vision for yourself and for your life. And then you see that, oh, this is the amount of money that I need, either on an annual basis or a monthly basis, to live my best life, rather than living a life where you are thinking more in the numbers just because someone told you that 100K per year is the number to go for.
Right.
And so that's not the right approach. The right approach is this: you have a vision for life, and then you think about money, rather than making a random amount the vision for your life.
That's huge also. So part B to that, how do you, when you're working with your, is that where you start with your clients when you're talking with them? Like, are you identifying where they're at right now with their beliefs and how they feel about money, so that you can help them to be real and honest with where they are and where they want to be?
Exactly. So I start with basically asking them that how much money they want. First, I ask that, and then I get them through this whole process of discovery, and then we come back and and see if the original amount they wanted was actually what they want, or someone told them, or they saw it somewhere that that is the right thing to do. And once they have more clarity, then they are also more motivated to work on themselves, because a lot of this is a mixture of internal and external work. And as with anything in life, our why is very important, that why we want to do something, the driving passion behind it. And once they're clear about the fact that, yes, this is my financial goal because it will help me fulfill this mission for my life, which is very important for me, they are more motivated to make these changes, because this can be a very painful journey. And often people have memories related to money which are very traumatic. And money, for some reason, even though we all spend almost 14 hours a day trying to make money, we never speak about money. It's like no one will ever speak about the fact that they're having financial problems or if they are in debt. So when they start speaking about it, it is often a very healing process. But just like anything healing, sometimes the pain comes out first.
Wonderful. So, me being a licensed financial coach as well, I think one of my biggest challenges, and you can definitely elaborate on this, one of the biggest challenges I have is getting people to even see that they need a coach, right? What do you think is so important or unique about having a coach versus not having a coach?
I think having a coach really, really helps you, because, firstly, your coach hopefully is trained to work with you on what they are working on. Also, your coach is coming when we are trying to work through our own problems. We are often taking knee jerk reactions, and we are often replicating our decisions are made on our thoughts, and our thoughts are basically what our subconscious beliefs are. So we are just going to replicate the same pattern in our life again and again and again. And where a coach comes in is this: a coach steps in and basically helps you those patterns, because being a neutral observer, a coach can see that thi- this is what your trend is, and this is how you behave normally, and this is what we need to change. So I really feel that if you believe in God, in life, in universe, whatever you believe in, life will keep giving us exactly the same circumstances in any aspect of our life, until we change the pattern. So until we learn a lesson, the same situation will keep repeating in our life. And this is where a coach, and this is not only a coach in terms of money, this is where any coach comes in, because they can be neutral advisors, and they can help you see the patterns and help you break free from your own knee-jerk reactions.
There's some blind spots. That's what I like to tell people. There are some blind spots, some things that you may have thought were okay, but they turn out to really not be that healthy. And if all you have is people around you that subscribe to the same type of behaviors, you won't see that those things are actually something that might hold you back. So I always say coaching separates the wealthy from the non-wealthy, and it's a mindset, right? It's not necessarily, oh, I have the most money, but it's a mindset. Financial independence depends a lot of the times on having a coach so that you can advance to the next level. So the next question that I want to ask you, because we are kind of getting into it, what would you say are some of the blocks? What blocks us or sabotages us when it comes to success? What are the main ingredients that blocks us? I know about limiting beliefs and things like that. What else would you say might block us from being successful when it comes to our relationship with money?
So one very common belief which I see in people is, and which is a block, is they don't feel they are worthy of success deep down. And that acts as a block, because when you think that you're not worthy of success and you don't deserve success, or you're not good enough, you basically are creating blocks of sabotages in your path. Uh, thinking that you're worthy of something is the factor which changes, it turns the dial line with anything, relationship with money or any other relationship. Because when you know that you're worthy, you will never ever, for example, work for someone who is not paying you your own worth. You will never stay in a relationship where you're being financially abused by your
Mm.
partner. You will never work with clients who are not paying on time. And if they're not paying you on time because you know that you're worthy of that money, you will take appropriate action. But when you think you're not worthy of it and you have done something wrong, then you're not coming from that empowered place. The second big block is a fear of success. So sometimes we are almost fearful of success because we think that it will either change our life, or we have seen people who became successful that they had to pay a heavy price for being successful. It impacted their personal relationships, or it may have impacted their health. It can be anything which we have observed. So that is like another really big block that we are almost fearful of being successful. And the third block, which I often come across, is also the fact that, which kind of ties up with the earlier point which we were discussing, is taking action. So you have to take, I mean, to be successful in anything, you have to, it's both the inner work and second is like the outer work. So you both have to go together. If you only do one thing together, it won't work. And so the other part is doing that, taking that action. Like, are you, if you are in a job and it's not working out, are you trying to look for a job? If you're in business, are you trying to look for a business? And a very important part of taking this action is managing what money you have now well. Uh, because your universe, God, your subconscious will never allow you to have more than what you can manage better now. So it doesn't matter how much you're earning now, it can be very little amount, but being in control of what you're earning now and managing that properly so that you're sending message to your subconscious and to whatever higher power you believe in. And if you don't believe in any higher power, then to the world, that you can be trusted with money. Because often we also feel that we cannot be trusted with money. I know I feel like that whenever I go on a splurge on a Black Friday. I'm like, oh my God, like, why did I do that? I shouldn't have. So it is this part starting from with managing what we now. And I often feel, I'm sure because you are a financial empowerment coach too, I'm sure you also feel that often in all the online noise which we have now, a lot of coaches are not talking about the fact that you have to start well now. You have to, and if you are in debt, go. There are charities in the UK, I'm sure the way they are in US, who will help you to go and get advice. But it is taking this action now that whatever I'm earning now, I'm going to do my best to manage it as well as I can.
So again, you said a whole bunch of things, but the the work of it is sometimes so overwhelming to even begin. I find
Yes.
that I can sit with someone and I can show them what it takes to get their start their financial journey, and they feel so overwhelmed. And I'm looking to take some baby steps with them, but hearing the work of it and what it actually takes, that definitely is a roadblock to sabotage their success, because then they feel like they can't do it. The baby steps, it's not going to happen fast enough, and I needed to happen now, even though it took you a while to get in the position that you're in, right? But that is definitely a roadblock, where I've had people who just totally get discouraged and don't want to do any of it, but they're drowning when it comes to the money part of it. So that's just so huge, right? The not feeling worthy, right? Not where I don't feel like I deserve to have these things, so I'm gonna block the opportunity for success. So that is huge. And so when you start with your clients, what you're saying is, we got to get a handle on the money management part of what you do have. And if we need to make more money, at least we'll know, right?
Yeah, exactly. And what you are saying is so true. The fact that this whole trauma and the fact that they want to often want an immediate uh, result, but what got them into that position was it took years and months to get in that situation. And also, there is another part of the trauma that often when we have bad money habits, it is something which, as we discussed earlier, we could have inherited. It can be generational, but it can also be a way to hide some feeling of pain or some unresolved emotion in ourselves. So, for
Mm,
example, like lot of time, women as women, when we are not feeling well or we are emotionally upset, we we will go like, okay, I'm going to go and shop something to make myself feel better.
therapy.
But oh, it's not so much with women, but with men. I see gambling, like a lot of men who are into gambling. The fact is this, that they are trying to use that as an outlet or escape for some other feeling or emotion which they're not facing themselves, which they're not ready to face. It can be some childhood trauma, or it can be the fact that uh, they don't have, they're in a really kind of, they're not in a good relationship and they're not getting that thrill in the relationship or in their real life, so they're trying to get the thrill or that excitement in gambling. So often, just like with anything else, there can be a hidden emotion or hidden trauma because of which we have money habits, bad money habits.
That's major, right? The emotional trauma and the things we do to mask. It's the same as if you were someone that was a drinker or did drugs, right? That there's something that's emotionally damaged or pulling at you that makes you feel like this is what I have to do to cope, or in the gambling situation, this is what I have to do to get a thrill in my life. So it's definitely, these traumas are so deep and damaging when it comes to creating financial success. So that what are I'll ask you this: what are money personalities? Talk a
So
little bit about that.
money personalities is something very, very close to my heart. And money personalities are basically are how we behave and we relate to money. So the way, we have Myers-Briggs, which speaks about how we communicate with people. A money personality determines what is our basic relationship with money, what beliefs we have about money, what are some of our blocks, what challenges we have about money, and it kind of broadly encompasses into 8 money personalities, and we all fall under one of them. That one of them would be like a very dominant money personality, and two other would be more, not as dominant as the main one, but would have a bearing on us. So to give you the example of money personalities, one of them is a saver. So the saver is the one, is your friend who is always trying to save money. So she is the one when you go to cinema with, would look at 5 deals to and for popcorn and a coke, and will find the cheapest one where she's saving 50 cents. We also have a friend like that, and I'm not a saver, but after I found out about money personalities, I was like, okay, that explains, because I do have friends like that, and I was like, that really, really explains. They were just being true to themselves. Then we also have money personalities like the opposite of saver. The second, it is what is I called a superstar or a celebrity, and they basically are people who use money as a tool to stand out. So these are the ones who basically would buy the latest iPhone and immediately it would be on their social media, or they would be talking about the fact that how they went to this amazing restaurant or this luxury resort, or if they go on a business class, they would be basically documenting the whole journey. And again, these are the people, they can also be very generous. adventurers. So these are the ones who would take their friends to like the coolest and the poshest pub or bar, sorry, bar as you call in US, we have pubs in the UK, a bar and pay for everyone, or who would buy strangers bottle of champagne. Because for them, money is a way of getting attention and way of standing out in the crowd. So they're totally, totally different from what I called is a saver. Then you also have people, money personalities like carer, and a lot of women fall under this category. Uh, they are basically, for them, money is a tool to take care of people. So they don't want money for themselves, but they want money to take care of their family. They want money as a tool, like they're the people who will be buying gifts for everyone in Christmas, but they won't think of themselves. Then we have people like uniters, for whom like relationships are more important than money. So they will always prioritize building relationships over money. If you're in business, these are the kind of people who would have one client for last 20 years or something. I know I'm being so dramatic, but that client has stayed them for so many years and they have not increased the price because for them the relationship is more valuable rather than having money. Then you also have people like rulers. So like mine is a ruler. Rulers are basically empire builders, legacy builders. They're workaholics. They always need to be doing something, and for them money is a tool to leave the impact on the world. So they don't care about money as such, but they care about the mechanism of working, making it. So they want to create a big business, or they want to create or do really well in their career. And they're always like they're always working, and these are the workaholics who would feel stressed that, oh, I haven't, like, I took a Sunday off. So about, oh my god, like the world has ended. And then you also have people who I call sensualists. For them, money is a way of living a comfortable life. Unlike celebrities, they don't like to show off, but for them, it is their own. They just want to enjoy their life. So they will also travel in business class. They also want to have a VIP experience. They'll also go to a comfortable place. But it's about how it makes them feel. They just want to have a comfortable and easy life. Then you have people who are visionaries. For them, money is a way of changing the world. So they actually don't care about money, but they realize that to change the world and to make it a better place, you need money. So a lot of people who run charities, a lot of people who are running NGOs, they fall under this categories. And the last is what I call iconoclasts. So these are the people who like to earn money by making basically risky decisions. They don't like earning money in conventional ways. They like earning money in unconventional ways. So they will basically be they may work in a conventional industry, but they will shake it up. So people like Steve Jobs, who basically transformed Apple, or Elon Musk. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. So like Tesla worked, Twitter or X or whatever it's called now didn't work. So these are the people who like taking risky decisions. So, and we, as I said, we all fall under one of these eight money personalities.
Okay, I gotta ask, because I was writing down every single personality because I think the ones that you just mentioned, we all know someone that fits into that category, right? So I gotta ask you, which can you have more than one money personality, right? And then which ones would you say you closely identify with?
So you cannot have, like, you will have a most dominant money personality, which would be a most dominant one. But you can have the other two, uh, top three money. You will have two other top money personalities, which would be impacting your behavior with money. So they will also have a bearing on it, but not as much as the most dominant one. So the biggest example I see is, for example, my partner. He is a saver. So he likes to save, but he's also a sensualist. So he likes to have a comfortable life. So I see at this tug. So like his second most dominant is a sensualist, and topmost is saver. And I see this tug of war in him, because the saver in him is like, we need to save, but the sensualist in him is being like, but like, we need to be comfortable also. so so yes, you would always, we'll all have traits of more than one money personality, but it depends on your score. So there's an assessment you take. One would be your most dominant one, and then you would have the two other top dominant ones. And sometimes there's not so much a difference between your top two. So then the tug of war is more strong. So my most dominant one is a ruler. So I'm a ruler, basically a workaholic. But my second most dominant one is essentialist, which is like about being comfortable. And there's not so much difference between a ruler and essentialist. So my ruler and essentialist are always playing a tug of war with each other. So, for example, this weekend, my ruler was like, we need to finish this. But my essentialist was like, why don't we watch this latest thing on Netflix? It's really fun. And so basically, to pacify both my ruler and Netflix and my essentialist, I was like, okay, I'm going to work, but I'm going to have Netflix on background.
Understood. Multitasking, right? I can make it all fit. Okay, so for me, I'm going with the saver, right? Where I'm like, I I don't have to have a bunch of new clothes. I don't have to have, the latest thing or, whatever. And I might even feel at times guilty for treating myself, right? Where it's like, you know what, I really could be doing something else with this. I don't want to do it. And then probably the uniter, right? Where I'm somebody that would choose relationships over the price of something, and the essentialist definitely sticks out. So I have quite a few of those, and this is such a fun exercise to help people to get to know what money personalities they have, because then you can really move with them and get to really help them out of the ones that might be holding them back.
Yes, and all the money personalities are basically, they all have their strengths and they all have their challenges. I don't like to use the word weakness, so I use the word challenges or shadow side, as you may call it. So
Right.
there's no money personality which is good or which is bad. They all have their strengths and they all have their challenges, and it is about harnessing the strength and knowing what the shadow side is, so you can basically kind of actually, instead of having a knee-jerk reaction, see that, oh, actually I'm falling into my, like, I have a tendency of doing this, so I need to behave in a different way. And you can take the free assessment which I have, which will tell you what your most dominant and second most dominant money personality type is.
Super. I love it. And you brought up your partner. And this is a question definitely for people who may have total opposite personalities from their partner. How do your money personalities, how can they help your relationship or your partnership with your spouse or whoever? And how can your money personality sometimes hurt your relationships?
Oh my god, this deserves a whole a
Oh,
show by
right?
itself.
I told you.
So yes, so it can make or break a relationship, because if you're, and it's not really a romantic relationship, it can be a work relationship too. So for example, imagine if you are a saver and your saving score is very high, and you are married to a celebrity who, or superstar, who basically just wants to buy expensive things and show off to their friends or families or on social media. Unless and until you understand that they are working, they are being true to themselves, you are going to have problems basically working through your issues that with money. And money is one of the, like, most common reasons why a couple have strain in their relationship.
Sure.
uh, so it has, I have had clients who was so stressed because of their relationship with their partner, and I had to actually, like, I'm not a relationship counselor, but I had to do sessions with them to kind of like tell them that this is this person's money personality, so this is how they react, but this is this person's money personality, and this is how they react. And nobody's right or wrong here. You're both being just true to yourself, but you need to understand each other and find a middle ground.
Right.
so that you don't argue about money. uh, but also sometimes, like, they sometimes partners are very well matched, they have exactly the same thoughts about money. So that also that works quite well. But often you come across partners who have very different attitude towards money, and then you basically have to kind of just explain to them that no, like, he or she is not being tight. They're just, that's what their their gut instinct is to save. And this person is not being a scourge. They just like being they just like being showing off. Or if you're a sensualist, they just like being comfortable.
Comfortable.
That's
Right.
what their personality is.
Okay. I love it. And they say that, like you said, money is can be the number one reason for divorce, right? He has a horrible relationship with money. It continues to spill over into our bills and the things that we need to pay. Or maybe she has a shopping habit, or whatever the case may be, and it continues to cause a rift in our finances. So I could definitely see how relationships end in divorce, because you can't find that common ground. So when you're doing the work with folks, does it do you find it to be more beneficial to work with them individually first, or is it something that you start off working with them together on?
So I usually work with people individually, but if I have a client who for whom one of the big obstacle to their money relationship or money stress is the fact that they don't have a healthy relationship with their partner because of money, then I sometimes basically I will ask them that if they can ask their partner to take the assessment also, and I'll have a session with them just to explain to them that these are the traits for each of you. One of these are your traits, these are your traits, and this is why the stress is happening. But the initial starting point to answer your question is always the individual work. I don't work with couples. Maybe something I will delve into, like go branch out into later, to start doing money therapy. But if someone wants to do that, it's a good field for them.
Right. I understand. Sometimes I work with couples, and I sat with a couple one time, and I was asking, if they had access to extra money, what would they do with it? And the wife looked over at the husband, and I was like, uh oh. And she was like, I know exactly what he's going to do with it. He's going to the strip club. And I was just like, ooh, like I had to back up, because I don't know if an argument is about to jump off, or, but she seemed to be very much in tune and aware with the fact that he blows his money, and maybe it wasn't affecting them in a negative way, but I could definitely see how that could affect them in a negative way. So I was just curious to see how you work with couples when it comes to your relationships with business, right? Say you're a business owner, or you're trying to start a business. Talk about some of the things that you need to be taking a look at, because a business being separate from what it is that you're doing on a, maybe you're an entrepreneur, and you start your business part-time. What are some of the personalities or even characteristics that a person should be paying attention to when they're getting ready to start a business, or they have a successful business and want to keep it strong?
So one of the biggest things about businesses, and this is something which is very common, especially in online space now, what I call cookie cutter strategies. So people will be just following the fact that, oh, these are a certain set of strategies and you just need to follow them. And or either somebody, a business coach will be telling them, or themselves think, oh, this person was successful doing this, so let me just follow the same strategies. But unfortunately, that does not create a sustainable success. And that is why a lot of businesses, they start and then they stall and they don't work. Because one of the things which money personality determines is our values and what is important to us. Now, imagine that if you are a saver, how what you would think about your marketing strategy would be very different from what a superstar would think of their marketing strategy. Similarly, if you are a saver, how what business model you will have to be very different from, let's say, what an Iconoclast would have, or even a Centralist would have. Or if you're a uniter, you are never going to feel very aligned if you're working with someone who's telling you to increase your prices basically every year, and telling you that if your clients are not ready to pay them, just get rid of them, get new clients, because
Right.
that doesn't align with your values. And we would never be very successful doing in a long term. We may have short term success, but we will never have long term success doing something which is not aligned to our business value. So we shouldn't have to change for our business. Our business should be a representation of who we are and what our values is. And that's where your money personality comes in, because your money personality determines your values around money and how you're comfortable earning it. And it also determines how you're comfortable spending it. So, for example, if you have a client who is a saver, they will never like to buy anything on installment plans. They will either have saved everything and paid you in once, and if they don't, they will be like, I'll wait until the next year or the next month.
Right.
Uh, but someone like a ruler or a centralist or a celebrity, I know I'm awful, they would basically be like, oh, more, they didn't know my momentary instinct, so they'll be like, I'm just going to like buy it now, or because, and think about the installments next month. Or, so all these things determine your business, like the business model, how you deal with your clients, and even with the business model. Like, for example, if you are a carer or a uniter, you'll probably be more happy working one to one with your clients. You would not be very happy doing what they call is group coaching or one to many, because for you that personal relationship is very important. But if you are a ruler or a celebrity, you will probably be very happy in a group coaching, because you like having that as a celebrity, you like that attention, and as a ruler, you're like, oh, I'm impacting so many people. So everything in your business, all the business strategies, they have to be aligned to who you are, what your values are, and uh, how you're comfortable earning money. And even if money personalities is not your thing, I would challenge anyone, all of your audience who think, to have a business which reflects them rather than trying to change themselves for their business.
Right. That makes a lot of sense. And I see things on social media all the time where it's like, don't be afraid to raise your prices, but if I'm a uniter, right, I'm not necessarily worried about the money and then it bites me later, where, I should have raised the prices to keep up with the rising prices of everything else, but I don't want to see it if I don't want to see my clients affected by that.
Yes.
Does the type of business that you want to start determine the success based on your personality? If you're a celebrator, or if you're a saver, are is the type of business that you're starting, does that matter based on your money personality?
No, you can start any business you want. It can be a creative business, it can be a like what I call personal services business, like what you and I do, or it can be a product based business. It doesn't matter. But as long as the business is aligned to who you are and you're very clear about what you want, all the money personalities can do anything they want. Uh, but for example, let's say that you have a boutique, but you are a uniter for in your case. So you will probably be happier having a very niche boutique where you know every customer by name. You would probably want to be there and greet them by name, and you know that, oh Sam, you have come, your favorite color is red. I already know that. So you would probably be giving them a very different service from, let's say, someone who's a ruler who will be thinking more, oh, I'm going to get people there. I'm going to have like start thinking about branching out. And so yes, anyone can create any business, but how that business makes you feel good and how it reflects you will be different for everyone. And it's not only your one money personality, your other dominant money personalities will also also kick in. And similarly, like, as you said, right, you hear all these things in the online space. And one thing which really pains me, and I'm sure it pains you also as a financial coach, is this thing that, oh, if you invest, take debt to now to invest in me because it will pay off itself in next 3 months. And first of all, you're encouraging someone. I mean, I always tell my clients that I don't want anyone to take debt to work with me. I have different programs starting from low ticket to high ticket. You can work with me. Otherwise, I provide a lot of free value in my content, in my blogs. Go through there. But this whole thing about the fact that you're telling people that, oh, if you invest 10,000 pounds in me now, you will automatically earn it back in 10 months. I personally feel that that is not a very healthy approach, and it's almost encouraging this thing which is there, especially in Western societies, of basically taking in a lot of debt which we don't know how we will pay back.
Gotcha. Okay. Well, I think this has been so impactful. I knew that you were going to share some pretty awesome things, but the breakdown is what people really need to hear. That is why I wanted you on, because the first show that we did, we tapped into some of the money traumas and some of, societal things, whether it's poverty or, your station in life and things like that. But there was no clear, concise breakdown of how these money traumas affect us and what personalities we form based on, like you said, by the age of 7, the things that you see at home. So I think that this was just such a great breakdown, and I encourage everyone to take some time and really figure out what your money personalities are. You can put it in the show chat. It doesn't necessarily have to be now, but if you're listening to this show, I strongly encourage you to take some time and put it in our chat of what kind of money personality you have, and if you have found it to be helpful, or if there's some things that you could improve on. And Samira and myself will definitely check the chat and encourage you, right, to take a strong look at your finances, because I truly believe that these personalities either hinder us or they help us to move forward. So, Samira, speaking of which, tell the audience how they can get in contact with you.
So you can email me at samira@samirasinghcoach.com, and you can also basically follow me on Instagram. I'm called in.her successful.shoes. And I also have a Facebook community, which is a free Facebook community of mostly of women, who where I provide free financial training and free money related training to everyone, because I know that not everyone can. They would like. I feel everyone deserves a chance in their life to change their money story, whether they can pay for it or not.
I love it. So you don't just charge for your services, but you give out some free resources. This show, for crying out loud, is a free resource to really help you to gain control of where you're at, where you want to be, and what things you need to do and need to identify in order to get there. So I'm going to get ready to bring this to a close, but I just wanted to thank you one more time. A big hug and an applause of appreciation for you taking your time to come on to the show and really pour into the audience. I can tell just from your conversation that you really want to see people improve when it comes to their finances. So I cannot thank you enough for coming on the show and discussing these topics with us.
It's been an absolute pleasure, an absolute honor, and thank you so much for having me.
It is my pleasure. The pleasure is all mine, my dear. And that concludes this installment of Your Money Matters Financial Empowerment Show, right? I'm going to pull over and park because the next few weeks of the show, this is September, which is Life Insurance Awareness Month, right? So we're going to be spending some time moving forward talking about the different types of life insurance, as well as how life insurance is used to build a strong financial house. We'll also get into some other things because we definitely want to be prepared if, God forbid, something happens prematurely. But what happens if I live a really long time, and how life insurance and investments and, emergency accounts and things like that really can help us to build a strong financial house and reach our goals and dreams toward financial independence. So I bid you all a good night, and I cannot wait to see you next week. The shows, I feel, keep getting better and better and better as we bring worthwhile resources and talent to discuss some things with you. And I always say it, but I encourage you to please take advantage of the resources that are being provided to you. So have an awesome night. And Samira, I'll be talking with you soon.
You too. Thank you so much.
My pleasure. Take care.
CMPRadio.net, it's the station. Listen, man, let's cultivate together. Bring us all your show ideas. Content creators, we're looking for that. Videographers, we're looking for that. You can be a part of the next great big thing that takes place right here in Chester, Pennsylvania. Let's cultivate.